Hey you guys, welcome back. It is time for my last video in my full month of nothing new. I hope that you guys enjoyed this month. I had so much fun. It was such a breath of fresh air. Take a break from all the new releases, just jump into what I already own, give my wallet a little bit of a break. And to finish off the month, we are doing monthly favorites today. I'm sharing with you guys the best things that I used during this month of June. Lots of old favorites here, some that I feel like I just didn't have time to get to know for the last several months that are slightly newer. And there is one new thing here. I promise I didn't break my own rules and buy something. I'll explain to you why I have a new product in my favorites this month once we get to it. Before we get into the makeup, for any of you that are new here, a very special welcome to you. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please consider subscribing before you leave and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know each time I upload a new video. With that said, let's just get right into my favorites. All right, let's start with the primer. This is the Pacifica Vegan Collagen Skin Solve Primer. This stuff is lovely. They actually sent me this back in January. I got a PR box from Pacifica. It was very hit and miss, but what I am finding is I've had some time to play with both the makeup products they sent me and also the skin and hair care products. I really like their skincare and their hair care products, even more than I like their makeup, at least from what they sent me, what I have tried. And this stuff is beautiful. If you have very, very dry skin, I think you will absolutely love this primer. It reminds me of a hybrid between a really hydrating primer, something along the lines of like the Smashbox Primerizer. It's very just like emollient, but not in like a greasy way, and it just really sinks into your skin and just makes your skin really supple and soft. But it also has a tiny bit of a glow in it. Actually, let me do one more little pump right here and kind of swatch it out so you guys can maybe see the sheen. It has like a very subtly pearly sheen to it. Not quite as intense as, say, something along the lines of like the Stay Glowy Super Gel, the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Highlighter. It's a little bit more subtle, but it's lovely. I've been using it all month and have just really fallen in love with it. It's beautiful. Hasn't broken me out. It smells amazing. It does have a fragrance to it. It's not a super strong fragrance, but it has this very soft, almost like florally / fruity smell, but it's pleasant. It's not overwhelming. It says it's supposed to prime, blur, and hydrate. Really, more than anything, I just noticed that it really preps and hydrates my skin for foundation, and I have been loving this stuff. Okay, let's move on to a couple of face products. First up, this right here, the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. I'm not usually excited about powders, and I don't really want to say I'm like wildly excited about this. It is just a setting powder. They're kind of very basic and simple in their function, but I've had it on the top of my desk. I think I pulled this out. I think it was the first video I posted this month, which was a video from monthly favorites back in the year 2021, and this was in one of my monthly favorites videos then. Then it was shoved to the back of a drawer and forgotten about, so I pulled it back out and I've had it on my desk all month, and I'm really enjoying it. It's nice and lightweight. If you are someone that has dry skin, if you need powder because you have a lot of lines or you have areas that you need to stay covered, so you want to set your foundation or concealer down so it doesn't move around, but you also don't want something that's too heavy or that's gonna really dry out your skin. This is really nice. I've been enjoying it. I think I have, what shade is this? The light one. Yeah, this is the light shade. I personally don't notice like a massive glow with this. I know it's marketed or listed as like a glowing foundation. It's kind of just a basic powder for me. For now, I've been enjoying it as a basic setting powder. Speaking of glow, I have a highlighter that I have deeply fallen in love with this month, and it's from the brand Peri Para. I picked this up in my Yes Style order back in the month. I think, oh, when did I post that video? I think it was in January or February, towards the beginning of the year. This was not one of the products that I loved the most from that order, and partly it was because it came with this really odd brush that I didn't really get along with, and it was kind of expensive. This was $14.99, which you might think that's not that expensive, Mandy, but I usually buy things from Korean beauty brands to save money. Like, you can find really good deals when you're buying K-beauty makeup, and $14.99 for a relatively small highlighter seemed like kind of a ripoff to me, so I didn't really give it a chance initially. After that first 1 or 2 times I tried it out, I just didn't really use it much, so I never got to know it very well, but I somehow managed to pull this back out this last month. And I think I might have pulled this out before my June full month of nothing new started, like the week before, and it's been sitting on my desk, and the more I have used it, the more I have realized this is a beautiful highlighter. It's quite intense, but it's not intense in the way that something that has a more metallic formula has. It has more of a formula along the lines of something like the Pure Nude highlighter, my Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Powder and Highlight. I love that highlighter. They're a little bit more natural, but the color of this one, which is kind of an icy pink makes it really stand out, makes it very, very intense, but in a very beautiful and natural looking way. I don't know, I love it. The color's lovely. It's kind of a soft pinky champagne. You can put it on sheer and get a little bit more of a natural everyday highlighted look, or you can layer it up and really get something beaming. It's just a gorgeous formula. If you have a lot of texture on your skin, you find a lot of highlighters that are more intense don't work for you, or you don't like something that emphasizes the texture on your skin. This doesn't emphasize texture in the way that some of my favorite intense highlighters do. Say my BH Cosmetics highlighter, even my Revlon highlighter, Benefit Cookie, or the Ofra highlighter. Some of those just in your face kind of highlighters, while beautiful, they can emphasize some texture, and I feel like this is a little bit more natural and subtle looking while still being intense. Okay. Let's talk about the new product. So I got a box 2 weeks ago from Physicians Formula. They have been sending me some PR. This was my second package from them, and they sent me their new Butter Bronzer Contour Palette. I initially was gonna save this for the month of July and use it in a video with you guys, but I ended up opening it. I'm weak, what can I say? I was a bit starved for new products this month, but I ended up opening it and trying it out. First off, has that familiar butter smell. If you've tried out any Physicians Formula product, you'll know what I'm talking about. I love it, but if you don't love it, well, you're not gonna love this. But I've been really enjoying this. I'd say it's more of just a true like sculpting contour than a bronzer. And I would also say if you have fairer skin than me, this is the lightest version, I believe. They actually sent me 2 shades. This is Contour 2, the deeper one, and this is Contour 1, the lighter one. I would imagine if you have very light skin, you could still use this because it's so effortless to blend. You just need to use a much more light hand, but it can be a little dark even on me, so I just have to be a little bit more light-handed with this. What I like about this and what I think you might like about this, if you found the Butter Bronzer to be a little bit too warm for you and you like your bronzer or contour to be a little more cool in tone, I think you might like this a little bit better. It definitely leans more cool, especially this shade right here. Beautiful sculpting shade. I am wearing a mix of these 2 shades on my cheeks today. I have it on my temples, down on the side of my neck. I even put some across the bridge of my nose. It is so easy to blend. And I've always felt that way, even with the Butter Bronzers. You can build them up in your brush and they just blend out like a dream in just seconds. Really nice product. My only criticism with this, well, this shade right here is meant to be like a highlighting shade. It doesn't have any shimmer in it. So I actually just use it as like a setting powder for my eyelids. And it does work really well for that. But I think I would like this even more if there was some shimmer in this and that was a true highlighter along with the bronzer and contour. That would be amazing. Speaking of bronzer, there's another bronzer I've been loving this month. Sadly, this one has been discontinued. It's from NARS. This is the NARS Sun Wash Diffusing Bronzer. I think this thing was released many, many years ago. I found this one at a Marshall's, either a Marshall's or a TJ Maxx about 3 or 4 years ago. And I pulled it out more recently and just really fallen in love with it. I like this one a little bit better than I like the original NARS Laguna, which I also own in their older packaging. This one's not quite as warm and like an orangey kind of warm. It's more of a like red toned orange, and it's a little bit more subtle, and you can build it up really nicely, which I really love. I just love the shade of it. It's a beautiful warm bronze shade for my skin tone. The packaging's really pretty as well. Mine's gotten a little bit worn off with all the use this month, but it had this beautiful herringbone pattern in it, which I thought was really nice. Actually kind of sad that NARS changed their classic packaging. I probably wouldn't care that much if I didn't do YouTube videos, but now anytime I pull out the old school NARS packaging, everybody knows my product is old, which I kind of feel like for someone like me that likes to hold on to their stuff forever is a bit of an issue. I can't pretend like things are new anymore. Okay, let's talk about the blush that I've been loving the most this month. You guys are not unfamiliar with these. This is the Gel Crush Lip and Cheek from Flower Beauty, but this shade in particular, this was probably up until recently my least favorite shade. Granted, I love all of the shades. You guys know this is one of my all-time favorite products, but this is like a really vibrant corally orange, which is stunning, especially in the summertime. There's just something about this type of shade in the summer when you have a little bit of like tan on your face or just a healthy amount of bronzer. Adding this pop of orange to the cheeks just really brightens up your complexion. It's perfect for a summertime look. The only word of caution that I would give is if you don't like the feel of something that's very slightly more tacky and hydrating on your cheeks, this is that. It will not like dry down to a matte or satin finish. It remains relatively tacky, not to the point where it's greasy or it bothers me, but I do have dry skin and I actually like that little bit of hydration on my cheeks. Moving along, just a couple more things. So I wanted to mention this, the Amalfi Coast palette from BH Cosmetics. This quickly rose in the rankings in not just this month, but in general. If you guys watched my ranking all the palettes I've tried out this year, it took me a minute to really appreciate this color story because it looks kind of basic and simple and like something I have in my collection already. But the more I used it, the more I realized there's really some special things about this palette. Number one, the formula. I love the BH Cosmetics formula. Their mattes are very pigmented. They blend so quickly, they build very quickly, and they layer on top of each other seamlessly. Nothing gets muddy. You can really get some intensity and dimension out of their mattes and their shimmers. Their shimmers are so good. I think they're one of the best shimmer formulas that I own. They have a lot of sparkle in them, but I wouldn't necessarily call them glittery. They're not chunky in any way, but they really bring sparkle and dimension to your eyes. So I'm wearing this palette on my eyes today. Love this more bronze toned look, but sometimes I'll reach for the pinks and create kind of this look with a variation of like pink to it, but you can also do the mustard shades or the peaches in here. It's a very fun palette for something that looks kind of basic and neutral and maybe even a little boring. I think I mentioned this actually a few times this month. It was in my ranking video. Then I also did like a everyday makeup look with this palette because you guys, I've really been using this almost exclusively for at least half the month, which might seem kind of lame. I know the point of this month was for me to like really get some use out of my collection, but this is just what really spoke to me. It is stunning. I mentioned in one of the videos I posted how special this peach shade is right here. It is the shade that I'm wearing on the inner portion of my eye, and it goes with every other shade in here, whether I'm going more like mustardy in tone, it goes with those tones, it goes with the pinks, it goes with the browns. Beautiful palette. If you like your warm neutrals and you like a little bit of peach, a little bit of pink mixed in, you're gonna love this thing. It's gorgeous. One other palette that's really impressed me this month, this one I've had for quite a while, but I just haven't used it a ton or gotten to know it. I initially thought it was kind of a different, or not a confusing color story, just a different color story. It's the Where the Wild Things Grow palette from Sydney Grace. So here is a quick look at it right here. So you have some slightly more neutral shades up here. You get some like orange tones, some pink tones, and then this corner down here of like a dark brown, some greens, and a bright purple. So the first couple times I used this palette, I would combine like the orange with the green or the orange with the purple, and it ended up giving me a much too vibrant look for my liking. So what I have found, if I'm reaching for the greens, I'll just stick with this row right here and this transition shade. But I really mostly have been impressed this month with this section right here. It creates some of the most beautiful, simple, quick, easy eye looks. They're kind of pink, but they're also kind of like camely brown. This shimmer, which is more of like a satiny shimmer, but even the Sydney Grace less metallic shimmers have such great brightness to them. I mean, just look at this, you guys. I mean, that's not one of her like more true metallics. I don't know, maybe it is. It's a little bit more sheer than some of her metallics that are literally like liquefied metal, but it's so pretty on the eyes, and you can go in with the light hand if you want it just to be a little bit more natural looking. You get some really soft feminine looks out of this that I really love. And then the Sydney Grace formula that I'm always talking about. It's a really good one. It's underrated, I think. I personally underrated this palette, at least up until this month, and I've been reaching for this a ton. I'm actually considering taking this on vacation with me in a few days. Last thing, I know I have mentioned these before in a video, but I have a different color for you guys today. This is a lip liner from About Face. I'm so obsessed with these lip liners, you guys. And this one is kind of a different color for me. This is the color Momentary Bliss, which is more of like a coral shade. Let me just give it a little swatch for you guys. Find a little space on the back of my hand. It is quite vibrant and punchy. I don't know that this swatch on camera is doing it justice. It's a very bright, bold color, but it's so fun and still not so bright that I feel like it's not natural looking. Now, I love a color like this a lot more in the summertime than I do, say, in the winter time. There's just something about a brighter pink on the lips in the summertime I think is lovely. It has quite a bit of coral in it, so I actually love combining these two together. Such a good combination. I am wearing this on my lips today. I do wear it much more lightly than you might, so I don't quite get that level of color out of it. I just put a little bit, like a trace amount of it along the outside of my lips and kind of smudge it in and then top it with a gloss. I actually topped it with this like bright pink gloss from Fenty, and it's so pretty. I've had so much fun with these lip liners in general, but this shade especially, if you like something a little brighter for the summertime, this is a really fun summertime shade. And that is it, you guys. Wow, I think this is gonna be a shorter video today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed my full month of nothing new. I had so much fun doing this for you guys again. I really need to get back into doing these at least once a year. Let me know if you guys joined me, if you took a little break from all the new makeup releases. Did you enjoy it? Did you feel like you're missing, did you get some FOMO and feel like you're missing out on what is being released out there. I did not even check Instagram, like Trend Mood this month. I did, however, look through my Ulta mailer that came in the mail, and there are some things I'm very interested in there. We might have to chat about those in the next couple days. I have a feeling that my wallet will be coming out of hibernation very soon, but I hope you guys had fun. I hope you enjoyed this full month of nothing new. Thank you so much for joining me, for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are all doing well. Let me give you one final reminder to subscribe to my channel before you leave, but that's gonna do it for now. I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye.